Shut up.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. Do not adjust your cameras. It is the gimmicky one from the Netherlands. He is a gimmicky goth. What is happening, dude? Usually this would be a spotlight show, but nay, not tonight.
Nee. I'm doing good. We had a conversation earlier today. You asking would you want me to join in, and you said join in. It's normally our first day where we do a spotlight. I got everything set up, so
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to
That's
you.
it.
When I got that message from you today, like I was at work and I rolled my eyes. I said, "Is this motherfucker really asking me if I want him on the show or not?" I was like, don't you usually do Thursday nights with me? Yeah. Well, then
True,
answer your own
true.
goddamn question. Yes, I want you here. Yes, I want you to be here and be a part of this because I think it's going to be a fun conversation tonight. Because I mean, reality is this, Goth. How many times thus far can I say that you would be able to speak to someone who has performed and is performing on some of our live events coming up? So, and it's just an opportunity, really and truly. Yeah, I want you here, you old fuck.
Guess what, people? It's going to happen more and more.
It'll happen here in just a few minutes. We'll get to our conversation momentarily, guys, as we welcome everybody across Twitch, X, and over on YouTube. It is a Thursday. We're knocking on Friday's door, which means we are one step closer to the weekend, which also means, Goth, we are about 6 or 7 days away from Chapter 4. Once we hit Saturday, obviously, it'll be the 25th of the month at the Empire Wrestling Institute in Castleberry, Florida, 296 Anchor Road. Goth, we're crowning it. It's going to happen. Our first heavyweight champion. It is going down. We have been rolling with this since, planning this since September, executing it since November, and rolling into the fourth live event. And it is going to be a massive show, to say the very least. 11 matches are going to go down. It is going to be a wild night. And let's tell the fine folks what they're going to be seeing. We've got our first round tournament action. GMJ and Matthew Ennis. And you guys, if you weren't at the House of Champions last night and you didn't see the clip over on Instagram, our boy GMJ beat the shit out of Matthew Ennis at the HOC last night, and it was fantastic to see. He's bringing the same.
Nice guy.
He's bringing the same energy to Chapter 4 and has vowed to put this anus out of the tournament in the first round. And I told him, publicly, and I'll say it here on the damn show. I am team motherfucking GMJ here. Get this turd out of my tournament so I don't have to deal with him again. That's the big thing here. But that is not all. That is just one of the tournament matches. What about Yasin Khan coming in from San Diego, Primal Pro's current heavyweight champion? Brother flies in on the 25th, wrestles on the 25th for us, flies out on the 26th to defend the Primal Pro Championship against Frankie Flacco in San Diego. Is he going to leave a double champion as he takes on Kid Kuda? It is very possible. What about this? This match is sponsored by No Game Unturned, featuring Skrilla the Great, sponsored by our own Goth, taking on Dallas Dash. We've also got other tournament action. Did I skip some? I did. I skipped Baracco and Slade Porter. How did I draw a blank on that? Oh, I put the graphic on the wrong place. That's why. I was like, where is it at? It's not there because it's on another screen. We have also got, outside of the tournament, the winners advance, guys. We'll have our semifinal action, and then we'll also have our finals. But we've got Lamaria tag team action on deck. It is going to be, I think it's Lamaria. I hope they don't get mad if I mispronounce their names. Taking on Donovan Rosé, who showed up at Chapter 2 in our scramble match. And making his debut is Shane Evans. And if that's not enough, this next match, one for the ages, first time ever, sponsored by Goth here. It is going to be the Radiant Sun, Jake Redondo, taking on Devious Cass. This is one that I strongly recommend you guys show up and take a peek at, because these two guys are going to be signed in the next 2 to 3 years. It's a guarantee. We've got 6-man tag team action. Caius is coming in from Texas, bringing the South Texas Killers, taking on Chris Marvelous and the Dojo Hunters. And finally, rounding things out, it is going to be for the Anti-Establishment Championship. Another first time ever. Noah Vale steps in to challenge Elias AK-47 Roman. It is going to be a fantastic fucking night. Goth, what are you thinking? Where are you at? Wow.
It's amazing to see what names we have drawn for this show. Every show is getting bigger and bigger. The fun fact with Chapter 4 is I finally get an opportunity to do the Four Horsemen side.
You're a
I'm
nerd.
gladly doing it over and over again.
You're a nerd.
But it's great. I'm so happy to be able to help sponsoring some of the names on this card. Skrilla, the Master Redondo, and Devilish Kid. And also, of course, we got to see Shannon's favorite wrestler.
Right, Elias.
Yeah,
Damn right.
Elias. Damn right. She met him for the first time recently, I believe. So I'm excited for this whole entire show, and whomever walks out with the World Heavyweight Champion deserves it, as long as it's not, Matthew.
Well, as long as it's not an anus, I hear you. We got some sponsors that we got to think. We couldn't do this show without you guys, man. This is fantastic. We've got Fight Pro up in New Jersey. We've also got Top Notch right here in Gainesville. American X Wrestling, American Extreme Wrestling, No Game Unturned, Heart and Soul out of California. The House of Champions right here in Longwood, not too far from where I'm at. One Division Pro, and of course Goth throwing in some sponsorship dollars here on this program and on this particular chapter, if you will. We could not do it without you guys. Thank you so much. And sponsorships are still available. Tickets are available at ccbpodcasting.com. Now through Sunday, use the promo code Legends Rise and you'll get 20% off. That deal expires at 10 a.m. on Sunday. I want to pack this building. I want these guys to have as many people as we can put in this fucking place as possible because they deserve it. They've earned it. And more importantly, I think we can fucking do it. So I need your help. Make it happen for us, guys.
Right.
If you're in the area, come out, show your support. It's one you're going to want to be there for. I guarantee you. Goth. Now that's out of the way.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Chapter 3, guys. YouTube at ccbpodcasting.com. Southern California was fantastic. Check that show out. Let's get into to why we are here today, man. We've got a great conversation coming up on tap. Our guest today was actually a part of Chapter 2. He was a part of our scramble match, the first ever scramble match, and is coming back for Chapter 4. He's got the tag team action, as we just talked about a few minutes ago. I didn't really know a whole lot about him until he hit me up about doing some live events or trying to get involved, really. And for me, when I get those DMs from kids that excuse me, I don't mean that disrespectfully, the younger generation and guys that want to try and do some stuff, to me, it's all about the approach. And I really liked how he came across. It was just he wasn't being pushy. He wasn't, anything other than, hey, if the opportunity presents itself, I'd like to. Here's a little bit of information. Let me know. And something came up when I decided to do the scramble match. I think I had a couple people that dropped out of the show, and I went back to that DM. Right, it was have them in order actually of who hit me up because that's the order I'm going in when I have those opportunities. And he was like the third or fourth. So I had a chance to call him up. Said, "Hey man, do you want to come and do this?" He said, "Absolutely." And a loss. He had some fantastic moments that we are going to talk about, I guarantee you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Beyond the Bell Live, our guest today. He is the Devilish Kid. He is Mr. Donovan Rosé. How are you, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm sorry it took 10 minutes to get to you.
Thank you. But I appreciate being here, and we are going to definitely talk about some moments because I did some pretty crazy shit at Chapter 2. So
It was a fun night for sure. Goth is obviously from the Netherlands. We had some pleasantries before we came on the air, but welcome our guest today before we dive into our conversation.
Welcome, sir. I do also know that the first time that we had some communications, you also asked about the chapter being able to perform on the shows. And I did send you to Chris because at that point he did do the planning and still does. And now I felt we had some good connection, even though we were some short conversations. But I'm glad that we came back around full circle and have this conversation and learn from you.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely it's nice having a chance to speak to you in person, and I think our conversations were nice as well. So yeah. Again, I'm excited to have a, as Chris will always say, a genuine conversation about wrestling. So nice. I'm happy. This should be fun.
It's going to be a great show. Let's throw some love out to our chat. We see Mr. Rip. How are you, bud? I see you, bud. I hope you're coming to chapter 4. And if you're not, shame on you. Dog Mama, how are you? I hope you're doing well. And we've got the mighty self. You know what? Mighty is what I'm going to call you over on YouTube because I'm not, no, I can't do it. I'm going to botch it. Welcome to the show. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will get them worked in throughout the course of our conversation. Donovan, man, we've done live events, but like I said before we came on the air, man, this is really the power of the platform. These conversations and the other things that we do outside of the live events, which is what got us to doing the live events, right? And being able to have these conversations and connect with different people all over the world, it is very gratifying, and it does a lot for you guys when you guys come in and talk to us as well. I want to start at the top, man. And for me, it's always been about fandoms, never been about when did you lace your first pair of boots and when did you even think about it. It's always been about where does it cross your life? Where does it intersect with you and what was going on? We've heard, video games and all kinds of answers, but everybody's answer is a little bit different. Where does it intersect with you?
Okay, so I'll try to keep it short because I like yapping. So okay. So for me
We do
personally,
too.
I
Welcome to the show.
I grew up watching wrestling when I was about, I'll say 5 to 6 years old, and my brother and my uncle would constantly try to get me into wrestling, and I was obviously I was young, so I didn't really understand the concept to it until I watched. I believe my first match I watched, I believe I want to say it was a Rey Mysterio match. I think it was Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk in like 2008, 2009. And watching that match and finally having like the opportunity to really intake the information I had, I was like, bro, this is so fucking cool. And so from that coolness and from the, I guess, interjunction from my family, freaking, and also getting all the video games because like SVR 08, 09, 07, all the way up until now. I have literally every single game up until now. Well, besides 2K20, but that's not the point. But ultimately speaking, I think it is a mixture of seeing larger than life figures just kind of on a TV screen and kind of getting all the information from them, plus also playing all the video games. I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with it hard. So yeah.
Well, when you say video games, I got to know who was the character you played with. Got to remember the first guy. Who was it?
First person I ever played was SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. I picked Jeff Hardy.
Okay. All right. We're gonna start with Jeff Hardy. What drew you into Jeff? What that it's either within your generation, right? And I'm an old fuck, man. So I don't mean disrespect when if I say kids or the young guy. I really don't. A lot of the guys in your demographic, in your age range, it's either John Cena or Jeff Hardy. It's one of those two cats 90% of the time are the ones that initially draw you in. So what about Jeff drew you in? And at what point did you stumble into seeing wrestling for yourself outside of the video games? And like, what did you recall there?
I would say my first event that I sat down and watched was, I want to say, like, by myself. I believe it was WrestleMania 26, and I believe the initial match that really got me hooked into it itself was that Money in the Bank match, which I know Jack Swagger won, and then I seen like Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk. I seen Sheamus versus Triple H, and just like all the matches on that card, especially freaking seeing the career versus streak match in the main event was just like fantastic to see for me, and so it really got me invested. And then from there, I would go back and I would see other stories. Like from there, I would watch the Mania 25 match between Taker and HBK, and I would go back to even shorter between that because I was a big fan of the streak. It was one of my favorite aspects of wrestling, and it felt legendary and mythic, and so I really, really liked it. But going back to the Jeff thing, honestly, it's gonna sound so simple because I'm a very simple and honest person. He just looked cool, like, and then I would see his moveset within the game, and like, if I was playing a game, or now being an adult, but if I had gone back to being a kid and seeing this dude doing a front flip off the top rope, I'm invested. That's awesome to me. And seeing the ability to jump off ladders and in freaking '08, you can jump through stuff in the crowd. And so like for me, it got me invested. And from there, it went from Jeff. Then I remember Ray because I'd seen Ray before. And then from Ray, went to Cena, then Randy, then et cetera, et cetera. And I just fell in love with the entire roster. So yeah.
Goth, I know that genre of wrestling. I know you got some questions.
Well, I've processing all the names that you mentioned because he said that he feels old. I'm the oldest in the room at this point, but I've really enjoyed watching Rey Mysterio since I saw him the first time in WCW, Rey Mysterio Jr. I was like, how old is this kid? And seeing names like CM Punk, seeing names like John Cena for the first time, it brought me back to an era of wrestling that I've jumped out of for a while because I remember the Attitude Era. I remember the WCW being bought by WWE, and then have the Invasion Era, and seeing some of those names come back and bringing all of them together. That was amazing. And about Jeff Hardy, what was your most favorite match that you've ever seen from Jeff Hardy?
It's gonna be a doozy for a lot of Jeff Hardy fans out there. My favorite match of Jeff Hardy's is the steel cage match he had with CM Punk where he lost and left because it stuck with me. A wrestling match like that leaves a message for me. And I know years later I would find out, oh my god, he's in TNA. But like at the time I was like, oh my god, Jeff Hardy's gone. There's nothing I can do. But it stuck with me, and it also made me for that time. I despise CM Punk because of what happened to Jeff Hardy, and it made him a great villain. And I'm a big fan of good villains. So for me, seeing that match and seeing how it played out, I loved it. That is absolutely my favorite Jeff Hardy match. If I were to mention some others, I would definitely say not his match with Jinder Mahal a couple years ago, not that, but I would say
Don't
the first
hinder
TLC
gender,
match back in
bro.
the day with the Dudleys and Christian, Edge and Christian. And in terms of singles matches, I would say definitely him winning the WWE title at Armageddon in 2008. Incredible moment for me, seeing him finally raise the world title, just like how we saw Darby Allin do it a couple days ago too. Like it was just, it's a great thing to see. I love a good underdog story, and so seeing him finally rise to the top was a great message for me, and it stuck with me. It still does today.
You hindered gender, bro. Don't hinder gender. I'm a fan of Jeff
I just
Hardy.
think of the whisper in the wind spot.
Well, he missed a lot. That's okay. Over at YouTube, Justin YT says this guy's going to be big. Obviously, referring to you, throwing up some 100s when you're talking about Jeff Hardy. So when you invest in fandom and you know seeing and hearing now that Jeff Hardy's kind of like one of the inspirations, if you will, who are some of the other cats that drew you in outside of Jeff?
So I would say, honestly, I mean, obviously, with the character that I got going on, the whole Devilish Kid thing, for me, I really latched on to really creative or interesting characters. So, like, The Undertaker would be a big one, Bray Wyatt another, and like even like Leo Rush back in 2019 when he was doing his thing in the cruiserweight division, and like even like I've gone back and I've seen like Psychosis, super crazy, and so like being inspired by a lot of cruiserweights while also mixing with kind of like a spooky flavor with like a Bray Wyatt Undertaker. I was just like, why not combine the two? Because it can make a really interesting character. Because like I'm pretty much a honey badger, to be honest. I'll scrap with anyone.
Yeah, and you did chapter 2. When does the idea cross your mind and like reality start setting in that you're really going to try and do this and you want to start looking into getting into training and in that avenue? It's all different for everybody. What did yours look like?
Sorry to get sad, but it was actually for me after my dad passed away in 2022. My dad was a big person on the idea of anything that you put your mind to, you could do, and so he instilled that to me a lot. And during that time in high school, I was in amateur wrestling, and I liked amateur wrestling. Don't get me wrong, I really do. It's one of the most impressive sports in the world. I love amateur wrestling, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. And so after you passed, I had some time to reflect, and I was like, is that really what I want to do? Is that the step I want to take? Because and also, if I go to college, I'll be student debt for God knows how long. And so, kind of just piecing everything together, I had a conversation with my mom, and she was like, "Son, if you want to go do wrestling, go wrestle." And I did. I sat on Google for I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 hours just researching different schools in Florida, and then I came across the fucking conservatory, Dory Funk Jr. School, WA Hall of Famer Dory Funk Jr. School in
Oh
Ocala,
wow.
Florida. And after having a conversation with him and his wife Marty, I was sold. And being able to see the events for myself and meet all the different trainees, from there I was just like, wrestling isn't just something I'm going to do; it's something that I'm definitely going to excel at. And if I'm going to excel, I'm going to the best school in Florida. And for the time being, that was Dory.
Goth, he mentioned Dory Funk, and you couldn't stop yourself. Go ahead. And
Me,
while you do that, I'm gonna grab something real quick.
you go grab something. When you mentioned Dory Funk, uh, what was it like to have a conversation with a legend like that? Because we've heard many wrestling schools, and everybody has their own way of teaching their students. But what was it about Dory Funk that stood with you the most?
Honestly, I would say it was his simplicity. And what I mean by that is Dory is by far, and no bias because he's my mentor, my coach, or anything. He is genuinely the most kind person I've ever met in my entire life. Not even close. He's soft spoken, but he cares. And that effort, putting him into literally every single one of his trainees, every single one of the students, any conversation, any questions that you had to Dory, how do I do this? What do you think about this? If I tried this move, etc. His simplicity spoke volumes. And that effort that he put into each and every single one of the things that he wanted to do showed his character through and through. And as a W Hall of Famer, me being able to just have that conversation with someone I consider a legend and is a legend, especially him
Mm-hmm.
and his relationship with his team with freaking Terry back in the day, like two of the most influential wrestlers ever. And being able to just sit to the side and talk to him about literally anything, it said a lot to me. And so I would say definitely his simplicity.
When you say Dory Funk and you say Hall of Famer, while it wasn't this particular one, I always go to the NWA Championship.
That's his
And
belt. I
and
always consider that the Dory belt.
and yeah, when you mentioned, and obviously, you and I talked about it. I knew that you were trained by Dory, and it just gave me an excuse to take it off the shelf and say, "Yep, there's Mr. Funk, man." I think that I think the world of them, to be fair, and having the opportunity to pick the brain is it's one that's different because not everybody's going to have that, and not everybody's going to have that opportunity too. When you start training, I always ask this question because it's always different. What were some of your strengths and weaknesses? What was stuff that came to you a little bit naturally? What was some stuff that you had to really put some work into?
Um, Personally, I would say I'm just gonna list two and two. I would say my athleticism and my coachability, because even if it took me a while to get it, my coachability spoke volumes just because I would try. My effort was palpable, and that effort speaks a lot to, again, how much I want to be here. I have such a high perception of wrestlers and the idea of wrestling and the wrestling landscape and the industry itself. And so for me, having those two abilities to be able to be athletic enough to keep up with basically anyone in the ring while being coachable enough to learn things on my own and become my own person and my own performer over time, it really helped me click. And weaknesses, I would say originally my gas tank. My gas tank was bad. My stamina was not fantastic. I was athletic, but athleticism doesn't matter if I can't stay in there for whatever I need to do. If I'm out here in the corner, like it's putting me in a bad situation. And I would say the other weakness was, I would say, just my anxiety about it, not giving myself the ability early on to really click with the other people around me and the people who are trying to teach me things, etc. And like, not that I wouldn't listen, but just I was so nervous about wrestling itself as much as I wanted to do it because social anxiety is just a big thing for me, or was in that time in my life. And so honestly, I would say those would be my two weaknesses. Definitely my anxiety and then just my gas tank just not being the best.
Well, I when I was wrestling back in the day, brother, I was never a body. I in my I gotta go back. I was like 6 foot, like 175 pounds, soaking wet. So I was cardio guy. That was how I. That was exactly what separated me because I was thinking back. How do again not going to be the biggest guy in the room? How do I make myself stand out? How do I do something different than and being able to go 20 and 30 minutes is what did it, right? So cardio that was my go-to. I used to call myself the Ric Flair guy because that's who I would model myself after because he was never a gym guy. He never had a body. Always had a little flub, but he could go, and that was something that
Yep.
separated him back in the day, right? Like being able to have those matches and be able to go the distance. Because you can be in shape all day every day. There's a whole different level of being in ring shape, right? Like that's a whole nother
Mhm.
facet and a whole nother aspect of it. And that's what scares me now because September's right around the corner and it's been 2 decades, but brother's got to do what a brother's got to do. Um, as you're going through this, man, and you're getting this opportunity to train with Dory Funk and pick the brain, if you will. Obviously, you start thinking about character and what you're going to want to try and do and what you're going to try and get out there. What did that process look like? How did you, from point A to point B? Because again, you've only been doing this a couple of years, so I'm sure there's been evolutions of what we see on YouTube or wherever we're consuming our product. Let's talk a little bit about the character work because you do have something interesting with it and I always say it always starts with an entrance, and you do some stuff that is different than, and it for if anybody doesn't like it, good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. It's different. It makes you stand out, and in a in a room full of 20 different guys. How do you do that? And you have a unique entrance. Let's talk about the character. Let's talk about how we get there.
Okay, so originally speaking, my character was completely different. Originally, during my training days, I actually had a character in moniker plus his name, the Stud Doc Diamond. That was my name, and I was pretty much an egotist. I was very similar to like a Chad Gable or Kurt Angle because my amateur experience I really wanted to showcase in the ring, and so I was like, yeah, I want to do a wrestling character. And so during 2024, after my first couple of months as Doc Diamond doing my thing, my first year trading, I was like, I don't really know if I want to do this because Doc Diamond's an interesting character, but like I feel like for me, I've always wanted to do something more outlandish, a little more, as Chris would say, unique. And so wanting to stand out, 2025 hits the corner. I get the call from Brick City Entertainment, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to do this character, and then go to something else." And I was like, "I have an idea for the something else." Originally, I was a nerd character. I was just a really buff nerd. I wrestled in a turtleneck and some Jordan, and so it was fun. I did one match as that with Brick City Entertainment, and then shifted into what I am now, which is of course Donovan Rosé. Being Donovan Rosé, I had really gotten a lot of inspirations from two main things. I would say a lot of like spectral horror movies like The Exorcist or like the not the Gallows. I
Yes.
hate that. But like stuff like The Exorcist and like that, and I would say also like again a lot of like spooky monikers like Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, but especially Finn Balor. Finn Balor and his work in NXT in the 2010s stood out to me, and I was like, well because he's doing it now, but at the time I was like, man, he doesn't really do this stuff anymore. So I was like, why don't I take concepts and pieces of what he does and kind of evolve it for myself? And so originally speaking, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, Ray Salad, great guy by the way. Can't shout him out, but great guy by the way. So me and Race are having a conversation, and he's like, "What things do you want to do for your entrance now? You have like the spooky gimmick guy." And I was like, honestly, having the spooky guy gimmick, I'm not sure. But eventually, it turned into me like, I think we were watching a Finn Balor match or like an NXT match, and I was like, "Dude, I should crawl the ring like Finn Balor." And he was like, that would be cool. And honestly, originally I didn't have it down, so my crawls were like baby steps. It was weird for my first match, but my second match onwards, that's why I started exaggerating it and really getting to feel myself. And so that's why I do it the way I do now because you get when you get good at being creepy, it people will sense it. And so I guess my creepiness just speaks volumes.
I
Well,
love it.
as you're navigating this thing and you've gone through a couple of different character transitions, if you will, to settle on what you are now. What I love about professional wrestling is you don't ever know what's going to work until it works, until you go out there and try. And the backside of that is you have a chance to do that every time you step in the ring. Every time you step in the ring, I would always tell guys all the time, try something different. You may never know. And if you get a reaction from the crowd, okay, well, let's enhance that. Let's see what we can do. If you don't get a reaction, all right, cool. You tried. Because you never know. I was very organic. Back in my day was, I say that again. Sorry, I'm just old. Yeah, but I would have guys, and I say this all the time. They would be like, "Oh, I want to do this, this, this." And that. No, no. How about no? What we'll do is we'll listen to the crowd, and the crowd dictates it, and it makes sense. Absolutely, I'll call it. But if it doesn't, don't get mad and don't get upset, because psychology is key and being able to draw an audience in. And you have that ability to do that with your entrance when you come out initially, because especially with people who don't know what to expect, and this is where I'm going to come around to Goth. Let's go to chapter 2 as an example, because that one was produced live streamed, right? So Goth has an
Mhm.
opportunity to see this for the first time. What did you think when you saw Donovan come out through that curtain, come crawling out like that, and then pop up and strike that pose? Had it on a dope ass mask too.
Well, I feel I was a when I first saw it, I was like, it looks something that I've really into because I'm really into what you mentioned, the horror movies. It was a question I was wanted to ask: is there something that you will take things from? Because I'm a big time horror fan. I love especially things like that. Like I'm a big fan of The Omen, The Exorcist, uh, things that are extraordinary, and. Um, Also mentioning the Finn Balor demon part, that made more sense to me because back in NXT, I've seen a lot of matches from him when he was the demon. I especially loved him when he was in England, when he came out as Mr. Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. Every time it was a little bit different. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm hooked into it. It's really because I love different things. So yeah, I want to appreciate what you did and what you explained. And yeah, what I want to know is what was the first time that you tried this? What was the feeling that came into your mind? It's like I'm enjoying this, or is I'm doing this correctly, or what was your sensation when you did this for the first time?
So my evolution of my character, especially when it comes to Donovan specifically, comes from one of my, I would call him a mentor because I love the guy to death. Prophecy Delgado, one of my favorite people I've ever talked to in terms of wrestling landscapes and the industry itself, and he's given me so much good advice. And it was a world title match that I had against him when I first debuted my demon character, and he was like, he pulls me off to the side. We just have a private conversation. He was just like, dude, not only do I like your work ethic, but I like what you're doing. You're doing something different. With that difference, stand out a lot more. And so I was like, what do you think I should do? And so we talked about some ideas and different things. And so what I actually hooked into for Donovan specifically was the fact that I love urban legends. Urban legends are one of my like fixtures that I'm really into, like the Wendigo, the Chupacabra, the Jersey Devil, like stuff like that. I really like the mythos around those kind of things and the legends they create for themselves. So I was like, dude, what if I do like what if I go from like devil character or like spooky guy to like what if I go to more like a urban legend kind of character, like a Wendigo, like where is Donovan Rose, like kind of stuff like that. And so I leaned more into it, and that's where I got a little more animalistic, and that's where I adopted like the Hellborn Honey Badger nickname and things like that. Because taking inspiration from those kind of things and having the conversation I had with Delgado, he was like, if you're gonna do something different to the utmost amount. Do it as much as you want to because that's what's going to make you stand out, not just stick out, but stand out.
I agree. This is the one thing that I love the most. I mean, I remember the first time watching The Undertaker come out at Survivor Series, like, holy fuck, what the fuck is this? And there were some other characters before him or after him that stood out. I also was a big fan of the Ministry Undertaker. It was going to that limits of what people could accept or could tolerate at that time. The only thing that I hope for and worry about, and you create a character like that, and the people around it um, does it right, book it right, and not go over the top. I've seen what happened to the Fiend character with Bray Wyatt, and it had potential, and all of the when the things happen with the Hell in the Cells, like yeah, well, okay, stuff like that. So again, I appreciate what you're doing with character like that because it can only be done if it's done properly. And what I saw was amazing.
Well, it does lead to a good question, though. With a presentation like this, Goth touched on that. That's a very good point. Like, it has to be presented correctly. It has to be presented in a way that is beneficial, right? So, is there any kind of pushback, or has there been any kind of pushback when you've presented the character and I feel like if you're, and this is where I think it's going to be a little, so it may give me heat. I don't give a fuck. I think with a character presentation like this, like a loss has to mean something, right? Like you just can't just show up and go through this whole presentation and it just you fall flat, right? Like the loss is there. Like I feel like there's got to be something there. There's got to be something that hinges to it. Do you get a lot of collaboration with companies, or what? How does that work?
So personally, I have actually yet to have like a negative response or a negative like reaction to my character. And like if there is a situation to where I'm losing or whatever the case may be, I'm usually like put into a respectful spot. Even like I think I did a show with Pro Wrestling Rebellion couple like about a month ago or so. And within that show, I got squashed. I got my ass kicked on like I want to say at max a minute. But they presented it in a way to where I was dealing with this fucking absolute monster who was beating the shit out of me. But I still had offensive moments. I still feel like it raised my mythos. And again, that's why I kind of adopted like the honey badger moniker because honey badger's main trait is that no matter who they're facing, they won't give up. That's the main thing that they go for. They'll fight anyone. They fight elephants. They're in the ocean, they're fighting whales, etc. And so like having that kind of character to where like I'm spooky and I have like a mythos around me, but I'm not necessarily like Undertaker strong. It makes for moments to where even with the mythos, I can meet somewhere in the middle to where I can have an interesting way to lose, but still make sure that whatever they want to do is getting done. So I feel like I have the ability to meet in the middle with a majority, if not all, of the promoters I work with.
So I think when you say the honey badger, man, I always go to Ryan Mooney, and he's the current Fight Pro champion, if you will. Ernie, I know you're going to be watching this because I'm going to tag you in it. I think we have to figure out a Ryan Mooney, Donovan Rose situation where they can either tag. We have two fucking honey badgers, bro. We have to do something. Like that has to happen.
Just kill each other. Like,
Nah, I mean, put you together in a tag. I don't care. I just feel like we got
honestly, I'm okay with that.
I
Like,
just gotta
Ryan, if
see-
you're seeing this, like,
I just gotta
hey,
see two
honey badger gang, that's
badgers.
fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I just need to see two honey badgers go fucking ballistic on people. I'm cool with that. Let me ask you this, man, because you talked about championships, and when you debuted with the Rose character, you had gotten a title opportunity, brother. You won a championship not too long ago. Now I'm not 100% if you still have it. If you do, fantastic. But I believe if my memory is correct, it was it's your first championship. Am I right to say that?
Yes. It's just give me one thing.
Oh, go ahead and get that piece of hardware.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Show it off. Show that belt
Show it
off.
off.
This is the Brick City Entertainment Hardcore Championship. I know the date. I know her name. Her name is Delilah, though some people differ, but that's not the point. And Delilah, I won her on January 10th against Johnny Romano at Brick City Entertainment show in Ocala. And I earned this shit with every bone in my body. Have I yet to defend it? No. But I will soon. Shit, if there's ever a CCP situation to where you want me to defend this thing, just let me know and I'll do it.
Dude,
But
I have
becoming
already
a champion for the
told.
first time.
Hang on, I have told
Okay.
everybody within earshot that I am not a promotion. I am a collaboration.
Mhm.
I have had multiple championships from multiple companies in multiple states defend on our shows. That's
Yeah.
never a problem. You just need to put me in touch with the company, and the company needs to let me know what they want to do and how they want. There's ways to make some of that shit happen. So, not to step on you, but yeah, that door is open to just about any company as long as you're reputable and you are putting the talent first. That is my prerequisite to working with any company, and I stand firm on that. I have walked away from companies because they did not treat the talent correctly, or as I felt talent should be treated. At the end of the day, we don't have any of this without you guys. None of it. So
Sure.
if we can't respect you and we can't take care of you to the best of our abilities, then we don't need to fucking be here. And that's for any promoter. That's my rant. I get one of those a show, guys. Just used it. Let's get back to this hardcore championship, getting this opportunity and winning the title. What did it mean to you, man?
Honestly, having the opportunity to, because like I debuted on the independent scene, I want to say officially March of last year. So I just recently passed a year within the independent. Any opportunity, but also like finally winning a championship, it felt earned. But in the same way that it felt earned, I felt like I was just getting started, and obviously I am. As good as the hardcore championship is, because I fought my ass off for it. I got fucking cuttered on a chair for it. And I fucking jumped for a frog splash for it. I did so many things to make sure that this championship was in my possession. With that being said, again, I'm just getting started. I have so many things I want to do, especially in the independent scene. There's so many people I want to face in terms of championship gold. And so with that being the case, this is great. This is wonderful. And I'm grateful to BCE for giving me the opportunity to represent them in a positive manner. But I'm just getting started.
Facts. I mean, I always say the first one prepares you for the second one, just so you know. That's with any championship that you're able to carry. I was in my time. I did well for myself out there. This was obviously we were on like kind of more of a territory system, right? So like when I say that, we were traveling. We were in Alabama one day. We were in Georgia the next day. We were in Tennessee the next day. Like every day of the week. Mondays was Alabama, Tuesdays was Georgia, Wednesdays was Tennessee, Thursdays was Carolinas, I think, and then we just looped around Florida. Like it was a whole deal. But the first championship, it's your learning curve, right? That's what I call it because you're learning as you go. There is no blueprint for this and how you present it, et cetera, et cetera. You'll only learn as you go with it, and it'll set you up for your next championship run. And I think it's kind of cool that you got a moment like this, right within a year of your in-ring debut. That's a whole nother, little situation because a lot of people don't get that. And it's an opportunity because I always say, the belt doesn't make the champion makes the belt at the end of the day. And when you get the opportunity to get out there and defend it, and you get the opportunity to do that for the first time, what kind of emotions do you think you're going to be feeling? What kind of, what do you feel is going to be your first championship defense? And, if we could manifest a little bit, if there's not a challenger that's out there that's already been named or et cetera, who within the company do you want to see step up and challenge you for it?
Personally, your first point when it comes to finally having a chance to defend you, I have honestly I've been impatiently waiting for someone to step up for it and for an opportunity to pop up for even just one person to just knock at my door. I'll answer. I always answer the door. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're 7 foot. I don't care if you're 3-1, whatever the case may be. I'm here. And I'm always ready to defend my championship with the utmost respect because that's what a champion does. A hardcore champion, especially because of the amount of danger that comes with it, that's what a champion does. And when it comes to defending the championship itself against a certain somebody, honestly, because I had a trilogy against him, and I'm 0 for 3 against him, I want Prophecy Delgado. I want Prophecy Delgado so goddamn bad because I know 1,000% I can beat him. I almost became a world champion 3 separate times. And yet here I am, still world champion list. But with that being the case, if he wants to come after my belt, hey, bro, it's right here. Right there. So, Prophecy Delgado, if you're seeing this, please hit a brother up because I will knock your ass out. As great as you are, as good of a world champion as you are, can you take my hardcore title? I don't think so.
I can see a good little story there playing out. I can see it. I can see it in my head. Let me talk to you a little bit about chapter 2, brother. Because as we said at the top of the show, or as I said at the top of the show, like I'm real big about how people approach. You know what I'm saying? Because like what we're doing is on the live event side is it's still in its infancy, and reality is I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no clue. I can only go show to show. And while we've got some investors and we're starting to round up some sponsorship dollars a little bit, like we're moving in the right direction. But I was very adamant about not bringing too many people into this what I'm doing, because if it does not succeed and it is not successful, I don't want, you know what I mean, like, because again, we're paying our dues in a different way when it comes to live events. But you hit me up, and I told you when you hit me, I was like, I think you may have hit me up for chapter 1, or maybe it was going into chapter 2, and the show was booked, but we had a situation. But I went back to your DM, and it's all about the approach, and how you came to us and was like, hey man, if the opportunity's there, and I'm, well, guess what, bud, the opportunity's here. Bring your gear and let's go to work. You stood out in that scramble match, and I didn't know how people were going to, right? Because there's so many people involved in it, and to be fair, booking something like that is not my favorite match. It's really a way to get a lot of people on the show, because I have to think about the goal, right? And the goal is to put you in front of people that have not seen you before, and don't have a concept of who you are, but they'll know who you are when you leave the show. Same thing with battle royals. Not a big battle royal guy, because again, too many people, this, that, and the other. But how do we utilize it, and how do we go about it? I think you guys put together a really good match, a really good scramble match. You and Onyx, fucking you, you guys, in my eyes, stole the fucking match. And it comes down to legitimately like the second or third low blow. I will hit you in the balls as much as I need to. I was like, I had to turn because I started laughing, dude. I started laughing, and I had to turn my back because I just thought it was fucking hilarious. Let's talk about this and your perspective of putting this match together, because guys, if you are just joining us or you haven't done a live event, I'll tell you now, I don't produce your matches. My view and opinion is you know what you're doing better than I do. You know what I'm saying? So like, I want to give you the creative freedom to try and map together something as best you can with who you have to work with. You have these really good spots. Let's talk about them. And I mean, did you mean to scream that out, or what? Did it just come to you? What's going on here?
So with we had just the normal discussion beforehand and just kind of figuring things out, and like I wanted everyone else to be able to have the opportunity to like really get their stuff in and have the spotlight around them, and like just make sure that my main goal throughout any match, especially multi-match, is just making sure that everyone gets at least like 2 or 3 spots to showcase who they are as a character and who they are as a performer. That's the main things to me. And so like my story in that match was built around basically me getting pissed off with Onyx because I jumped at him earlier in the match and he fucking destroyed me with a spine buster. And so having that happen to me, I was like, damn, I'm kind of getting pissed off. So I came in the first low blow. And then later in the match, he's coming after me again. He could go after Elias or Brian or fucking Andret. No, go straight after me again. So I hit him with a second low blow. And so out of a pure imaginative fucking part of anger that I had for Onyx at that point, I was like, Onyx, the one, I will hit you in the balls as many times as I need to. Because it's true. If I have to keep low blowing this fucking giant man because he won't stay the fuck down, then that's what I have to do. That's what a honey badger does to win. We don't play fair. We cheat if we have to do it. But a win is a win, ultimately speaking. And Onyx was playing, so I had to take him out. I'm sorry. I feel bad for it sometimes, but not often.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious, man. Goth, what's your thoughts? You got any questions? What's on your mind?
Well, the way you describe it, it makes me think about how many times people would try grab a shotgun and shoot at Michael Myers, trying to get him down, and he keeps on coming.
Yeah.
Back to the horror film. So I really enjoy the psychology behind it, because I'm a big fan of wrestling. I've never been in the ring, and I never will as a performer. But as a fan, I learn more and more every time I have a conversation or listen to a conversation of how you address a match and how you go into that. And I just Brilliant. I really enjoyed that moment as well.
Yeah, I
Well,
appreciate it. I enjoyed hitting him in the balls too, so I appreciate you guys liking it so much.
well, now he has a championship down in the Orlando area. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
it's-
we throw this clip out there and see if they put that back together. Because I don't know, brother. Onyx and his new news may want some revenge because you went on attack mode, bro. Um, so 2026 is you just completed your first year, right? And we're 4 months in, 4.5 really. What are some of the goals that you have set out for yourself this year? What are you trying to accomplish? What's on your personal radar within professional wrestling?
My personal radar, I have one goal in mind overly like over anything, and that's definitely getting out of the Florida circuit and just going to somewhere else, like Georgia, the Carolinas, Jersey, New York, Cali, Texas, etc. Like anywhere they'll host the Devilish Kid, I'll go. Because for me, a part of that independence experience has, been traveling, but like for me, I've always wanted to go out and see the world as well. And so having the opportunity to just simply go to a different place, even if it's just like Savannah, Georgia or Atlanta, etc. Like it would just be a good experience for me. And also, honestly, I'm a big picture person, so I take a lot of like landscape photos and like just driving somewhere. I stop to the side of the road, whatever the case may be, take a nice picture, get back on the road because I'm about to go kick some guy's ass in about an hour or so. So for me personally, that would definitely be my main goal. Would be getting out of Florida.
You should hit up. Actually, you don't have to hit him up. He'll be here. He'll be here for chapter 4. You can talk to Kais. You can talk to Kais. He's in San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
He's Marvelous was out there. Casey Vi's been out there. Talk to him. Remind me, and I'll introduce you, we'll get a ball rolling. That's the beautiful thing, kind of about what we do. Really, it's the connections that we've made and the companies that we've made connections. You talk about Atlanta, Georgia. I've got a meeting on May 31st. It's a Sunday in Atlanta with several companies about bringing our championship and getting it on their television in New Jersey and Chicago and Los Angeles and in Texas. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on as to things that are about to start happening here. And realistically, for us, it's really about opening that door. And it's about putting you in touch with people. I can never make a deal for you. I mean, I can, don't get me wrong. But I'd rather not. I'd rather, you make that deal for yourself because you're the one that's going to have to go out there and do it ultimately, right? Like, and make that commitment to do it. But if you're serious, then that's why we're here. And we're here to cater to those that want this. And, it may not be WWE, it may not be AEW, but it's a new market. It's a new place, it's new audience, it's new people. And reality is you just have to connect. That's it. And you can do that very easily. And it's something that you do carry is the ability to connect. You can draw people in with what you're doing. So there is opportunities out there. You just have to find them. And we'll open up the first door for you for sure on the 25th. I'll probably tag Caius and throw this out there and just be like, fucking book him. And then go from there and see what happens, man. I ultimately want the best for everybody. And I know that in the world of professional wrestling, that is motherfucking crazy. But I will consider myself insane because I do think that we have an opportunity to really do some different things. And we have. It's already starting to work. It's already starting to trickle, but we're just in that growing pattern, if you will, and getting the green to start growing. So that being said, we know that you want to get out of the state. We know that you want to try and do some things. Where are some places that you want to go? Where are some companies maybe that if you get opportunity to work for, who are they? What's on your radar?
I have a couple promotions on my radar, but I'll give like a top five. My number one right now is AMLW or AML Wrestling out in North Carolina. Another one would be Firestar Pro Wrestling. Phoenix Wrestling Experience is something that I've wanted to work for a while. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, that's another one. And amazing pro wrestling out in Texas. So for me, it's really is just my goal this year is just primarily focus on expansion, and honestly, just putting the Devilish Kid in other places besides just the hot ass Sunshine State because it's nice to get out when there's not pollen attacking you or the sun trying to kill you.
You mentioned a company that one of our good friends is their current heavyweight champion. So we'll talk when we get off the
Oh.
air. It's funny, I told you, you just never know. And I told you before we came on the air. I'll preface this, guys. I tell my guest I legitimately will ask you 4 questions on the show. Everything else is completely ad libbed. It's on the cuff. It's as we talk. I'm a firm believer that people can see through fake, and I don't. We're not. So I'd rather just keep it organic. But that, and I also told you that if you mentioned something, I would bring it up. Well, you did, and there you go. So in the same vein, there's some companies that are out there. Who are some people that are out there that you want to work with?
I got a little list because there's a lot of good people out there. And
I got a lot
fun
of time.
fact, one of those people is someone I'm facing April 25th in Castleberry is Damien Gemini. I've seen so much of his work and being relatively close with him and his dad. Like I've seen his immense talent and how hard he wants to get better. And same thing with TJ Brady. They're both together. They're fucking amazing. Lamar is a great team, which is why it's so awesome. I'm going to kick their ass April 25th in Castleberry. But also respect how much they work for what they want and how much they're pushing to become the wrestlers that they've always wanted to be. And so, for respect, they're on there. I would say Blazing Hot Blackjack's another one because Izzy's one of he's a cool guy. Love that guy to death. He gets on my fucking nerves sometimes, and I just want to DDT him in the ring, but I can't because I haven't been booked against him yet, but I will be. And so when that happens, I'm excited to face him. In terms of other places, I would say freaking August Fears, one of the best talents in North Carolina that I've been looking at pretty much since my friend Ray said, "Hey, you should face August Fears. You guys will have a great match." And so I've researched him and I've looked at him. I'm just like, damn, I do want to face August Fears. But there's one person above them all that I want to face more than anything, and that is the sexual pain maker, Noah Vale. Noah Vale is outstanding. A professional wrestler through and through, which is why I feel so strongly to prove myself against someone like that. If there was a number one on my list, it is Noah Vale. If there's a number one on my list next year, it'll probably still be Noah Vale. Just give me 15 minutes to beat his ass, to grapple with him, to give myself the opportunity to really interact with someone else of that caliber. And I guarantee, not only are we making magic, we're making history. So, number one would be Noah Vale.
It's funny, Noah Vale's going to be president on the 25th.
Chapter 4.
Imagine that. Yeah, that one was a funny one that came about. I had got an opponent for Elias out of New York that was going to come down and make his debut with us. But yeah, I always tell people, and I don't mind saying it on the air, with the guys that we book on our shows, I am that dude that if you get a better opportunity and you don't take it, I'm probably going to be mad at you. If it's better than what I can offer at the time and you don't take it, you're probably going to get that, why the fuck are you here? And why didn't you go there? And it's all about communication, right? Like you let me know something 48 hours before the show, I'm going to be mad at you. But if you let me know something, unless it's something that's fucking okay, understandable, I got you, go handle it. But if there's communication in advance, man, no, I'll be like, you better go fucking go. You better go. That's just there's someone else that I can call locally that would take that spot, right? It gives an opportunity for somebody else while you go and get a better opportunity. It's already happened several times. I don't get mad. I don't get upset about any of that. As we believe that if it's there for you, you need to take it. And Noah Vale is just one of those cats, like you mentioned him, and I got a chance to see him for the first time at Mikey Spandex's show last year, and was completely just in awe. Like I've seen the work, right? Watched some matches, but just witnessing stuff like that live is a different vibe the whole way around. So we'll have to talk to Noah when we see him on the 25th. Goth, what do you got? You got any more questions?
You mentioned you want to go out of state. There's also a lot of and promotions internationally overseas in Europe, Asia, Australia, South Africa, name it. There's great wrestling. South America, of course. Are there any international countries and promotions you want to go to?
There would be plenty, and I would say my top ones right now would be definitely traveling through the circuit in the UK and then as well as Japan. But even like I would love to wrestle in Ireland. I would love to wrestle in Australia if a spider doesn't kill me before I get to my match.
Bro,
But
those spiders are fucking
there are
huge.
definitely like
They
fucking
jump.
gigantic. They're so scary.
They jump.
But yeah, freaking I think personally that I would absolutely because again, one of my goals in my lifetime is just traveling the world, experiencing all the things that humanity has out there for you instead of just staying in lonely old Florida. And so I would love to go international. Even like Belgium. I would love to wrestle in Belgium. There are so many interesting places, especially in Europe, with such good wrestling and like just having the opportunity to be a part of those things, absolutely.
Belgium has some great waffles. They do.
Great wrestlers.
Uh, it's funny you mentioned Australia. I'm going to break some news to everybody now. We're going to Australia in 2027, guys. So it's a done,
Holy shit.
it's a done deal. Yeah, it's happening. We're going to work with PWSA, if I'm not mistaken. Our good friend Brady Roberts, down that way, and there will be some more information that'll be coming out on that probably in the next couple of months. But one of the many things that we are working on is establishing the relationships don't just extend here in the States, man. We're on every continent. We have affiliations and partnerships with major companies all over the fucking world. I'm not kidding you. And it's something that we never thought would be a thing. We're just a group of dudes who sit down and like to watch independent wrestling. And here we are now, right? So that's why I say like we are very driven to like make fucking dreams happen. Like it's just the way it is and the way it's going to be, and at least with our platform. And it evolves and continues to evolve because of this question right here. And in a world where there are hidden gems fucking everywhere, we've seen them, we have come across them, we have befriended them. There's so much wrestling everywhere, we can't see it all. Even in my own backyard, I know there's some hella talents out here that I don't know a fucking thing about, but maybe you do. So, who are some people, according to Mr. Donovan Rosé, that we should be watching?
Might be a little bit of personal bias, but I'm gonna put my boys on because I have worked with them and I've seen so much of their work. And so I'll name two people specifically. One, I'll name Chad Casanova. He is active in Maine and he is incredibly talented. One of the best independent wrestlers I've seen on the mic, and he can control a room simply by speaking, which is one of those things that not a lot of wrestlers have the ability to do. Not just that, but he's safe, he's careful, and he's also egotistical as hell, which makes him so much better to punch in the face. And so I would say definitely my hidden gem out of Maine would be Chad Casanova. And then my hidden gem down here would be Jake Powers. Jake Powers is someone I have wrestled continuously. If I have an op or my biggest enemy in wrestling right now, it would be Jake Powers. We've wrestled through and through in so many different places. I think we have wrestled genuine like 3 or 4 promotions, and we'll probably make it 5 or 6 by the end of the year, being realistic. But with Jake specifically, I understand how much he tries, how much effort he puts into wrestling, and how much he loves to do it. And so having someone of that caliber who's down here in Florida with me, who's actively running with me, and then getting to a show and just putting on absolutely the best match of the night, my hidden gem for Florida would definitely be Jake Powers.
Okay. All right. Those are some names that I'm not familiar with, but I'll get familiar with because that's the name of the game, man. That's what we do. Before we start tying a bow on things, man, I like to turn the floor over to you. Is there anything that you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to plug? Is there anything that you want to get out there, man? The floor is absolutely yours.
I'll keep it simple. First off, I just want to say this conversation has been insightful and also extremely nice, and so I appreciate the chance to speak to both of you. Two, I'm going to shamelessly plug my Brainbuster t-shirt store, so go to brainbustertees.com/Donovan Rosé for all my merch. They're really cool. Three, that Australia show that you're doing next year, my DMs are always open. And so I will listen. I will fight the spiders to have the chance to wrestle in Australia. I would fight Kangaroo Jack in order to wrestle in Australia. Whatever the case may be, again, my DMs are open, and so that would be something that I would definitely be interested in. And same thing would be to you, Goth. If there's anything European side that you think would be an interesting opportunity for me, give me a text or a call, and I'll do what I got to do.
Well, there are some plans, but we can't say too much.
Shh. Hush. Mom is the word. I've already said too much. Guys, the easiest way that you can show your support is indeed by sharing, and subscribing. And in Donovan's case, it's really simple. It's been on the screen the entire show. Check him out over on Instagram, the Devilish Kid. Hit the follow button. Check out what he has going on. He's a year deep. There's a lot of upside that's going on here, and there's a lot of things that you could check out now and get in on the ground floor of. And you need to. Support goes a long way. Share his stuff. It only takes one set of eyes to see someone and to see something in someone to pique interest. We know we've been doing this for almost 2.5 years. We understand, and we're successful for a reason. And part of that is because of you guys. So the power of the platform, it does work. Go show him. Give him some follows. If you're not following Goth, he has crossed 1,000. Continue to feed his ego at CCP _podcasting _goth. And if you're not following us at this point, I don't know what to fucking tell you. We have our pulse on the scene all over the world. We're live every day, just about doing a different program, talking to a different piece of talent, and trying to introduce you to them and their work. If you enjoy the scene, you're going to enjoy what we have going on, because we ain't going anywhere anytime soon. For my guest today, Mr. Donovan Rosé, for the gimmicky one over in the Netherlands, it's 3 a.m. He must be lonely. I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.